turn it down a bit. That's probably a good level. Maybe just a touch quieter just to be safe. Hope everyone's having a good night. I was just trying to see if this was a replay actually worth going through. This is an internal match where I've been playing a really... what's the right word for this? I'm going to call it normatively bad runner deck, in that its whole goal is to just play Essa, use G for a little bit of core damage, and then power up Clan Vengeances really quickly so that your opponent never gets to do anything. And if they try and score, you just Bankar through their ice, and you DDoS through their ice. Hey, Ginevra. So this is a win that I got that I definitely got lucky to get, because my opponent had a breaking news, an Astro, and a 24/7 news cycle all in the score area. Oh, it's lightly hailing, at least when on my walk home, but like tiny hail, little rocks. Oh yeah, this is a silly play that I did where I draw a Clan Vengeance, so I overwrite my 0 so I can hit the 0 a second time in that turn. And you just use Titanium Rubes so that you only ever lose cards you can afford to. And then you can levy and go through the whole deck a second time. And my mistake in a later game is that I'm not playing 2 levies for actually no reason. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I want to start. So one of my ambitions, and this is like, I'd love to make it an official NSG ambition, but oops, not sure it's going to be, would be to have there be a real draft kind of setup at Worlds for this upcoming year. Even though I'm not 100% confirmed to be going, I feel like it'd be something that's fun. So like, I think the StimHack Draft Cube is a good start. I kind of wonder if we can go a little bit more fun and wild out there. But yeah, but I also want to do some relay, some replay reviews, and maybe we'll play a bit of Asa, because I really can't stop myself. The reason I want to start with replay reviews was this absolute drag out knockdown fight between me and Lat. So infamous Smurf always has been. So I posted this list in GLC, and someone went, "Hey Jeff, this only has 48 cards in it." And I blame Stream for not telling me, even though I may have changed it off stream. And so what I originally had was 2 GFIs, 3 border controls. And what I was feeling like was that basically when playing against good players, I was already losing when they had Mad Dash. And so I was just going to make my Agenda Suite worse and get 2 influence back, which I spent on a second Gaslight and turning 1 border control into an Anoetic Void. And I'm kind of in love after 1 game. So my start's pretty reasonable, all things considered. Like 1 agenda, some good ice, a hedge fund, and a Maryland is a good start. There's an argument, I guess, to be made that I should put the border control in front of the Project of Vitruvius. I think the reason I didn't do that was because my read is that if you're playing Lat Shaper right now, you should be you're playing APOC, and so I wanted border control for a central. My opponent just plays very nicely and says, "You won't," runs turn 1, and I, of course, draw 3 agendas. I put 2 back because I figure, oh, they're never going to assume I drew 3, so there's no way they're going to run HQ. They sure gamble. They access the Maryland, trash it, which is very annoying for me, as my econ, if I go to score this, is just in shambles. And so I go for the play of just saying, no, we're not going to score. And I think my line was here, if they run HQ for some reason, I was probably just going to let them have it, because I wanted to keep the border control fairly secret. The draft of fire is pretty nice here. I get to add a hedge fund back to my hand, put a Maryland down, then res a spin doctor, and let them spend some money. They of course started with just all of the econ, which was definitely a bit tricky here. And I lose an Anoetic Void. That Anoetic Void I think gets trashed like 3 times this game. I think actually here's where, oh no. Yeah, this is where I make one of my mistakes of this game. Oh no, they actually just trashed the Gaslight, never mind. So with the endurance down this early, I feel like I'm trying to like use up their endurance counters, and I wonder in retrospect if I should just leave this on the table for another turn and go something like Eli and Drafter, and then like take a credit or something. Instead I score and let them kind of snowball on counters a little bit, and do this kind of weird triple install but no ace trigger, where I could have like installed the Vitruvius with a Manic Arm and then install, though I think I didn't do that because I felt like they could get in if they did any planning whatsoever. I remember clicking to let them through here because I just assumed they were going to break with endurance, but they didn't, which was nice. A 3 border control is not bad, and that lets me res the Eli, and they bounce off that, and they're going to pinhole threading, trash the Manic Arm, which is definitely not good for us. Or for me, I should say. And I was sort of determined, I think I would spend a long time deciding, do I want to tax out a boat counter here and time walk myself, or do I want to let them through? And I'm not sure if it was right to let them have that boat counter. It ends up being fairly impactful. This next activation command ends up feeling pretty nice. And of course, my opponent top decks the Oiler here. It's kind of, I think actually in retrospect, kind of amazing how different this game is if my opponent doesn't top deck Oiler here. Like, I actually think I probably, what they have to do to make it, to get in, is to Into the Depths through Archives here. It's a very different game. But I do get at least a little bit of econ to stick for the first time. And I just do some power drawing. My opponent gets lots of endurance counters. Then I try and go out and build a board. Basically, this is more or less just a bluff, and I'm trying to put pressure on them. And I think my call was basically like, they know, like we both know they can get in, so there's no way I put an agenda down, which is why I put an agenda down. And for some reason I get away with it. So I get a Vitruvius with a counter off of a seamless launch. Which feels pretty good. Go for Rashida in the remote. They're just going to go and trash the Rashida. And there's maybe a case to be made for resing this Gatekeeper here, but I think I ended up being correct to save it. And I wanted to ice up HQ because I felt like an APOC was an anytime thing. And this is where I complained about not seeing any fully operationals with 19 cards left in the deck. I guess you guys can't, y'all can't see the chat, but do I go for a fake score here? No, I just like, I'm gonna use up some of a little bit of resources on the Maryland here. And then I draw the Void I shuffled back in, which is really clutch here. And so I think I just try and force a score if I remember correctly. Oh no, I wait a turn. In retrospect, I maybe could have thrown out an agenda, but it ended up being nice that I just played flooded the whole game, which is kind of funky. My opponent actually is bluffing an Apocalypse here, and I maybe should have read that this was a bluff, because there's no reason to APOC me this turn. I'm not threatening to score at all. But at the same time, I don't want them to access any of these cards in my hand, so I don't mind the border control pop. It does make this turn really weird. Because basically, I have to try and start pushing in server 1, and I've put a border control on here, and I also need to protect my centrals from getting blown up. So I go for a line that's a little bit strange, which is get a Luminal and a Void in server 1, and then I put the Managarm on HQ. I think my reasoning was basically like, it's going to be, with 16 credits, it's a little bit of a setback, and they have to play around me putting Void on HQ instead of Skunkworks. In retrospect, I don't think this Managarm actually does anything here. They just go boat, boat. Oh no, here, and then, I'm sorry, I forgot my last click, which I think is to play a next activation command, yeah. So now they can't use boat, so it starts to become actually kind of expensive. They have to spend, what is it, 5 to break this ice, 6 to break this ice, and suddenly they don't have that many credits to deal with the Managarm and APOC me. So this was like I kind of drew all of my no BS tools at once and had to find a way to kind of weave them. And of course then my opponent just plays Pinhole and I'm pretty sad. So it's border control into Gatekeeper. I'm on 0 credits, so it's very tricky for me to defend. So what do? I think I like credit fully operational for 6, and then I just reinstall the Anoetic Void using the Vitruvius counter, which is kind of fun. My opponent Stargates, but doesn't work. I get the Luminal through, and then I think in retrospect I maybe did the wrong turn here. So what I end up doing is putting Rashida in this Anoetic Void, but that ends up meaning that I have to commit a lot of resources to protect the Rashida and the Void. And I wonder if I had gone like, you know, Nico campaign behind an Ansel, Rashida in server 5, click for a credit, if that line looks better, because I'm not actually presenting it doesn't look like I'm presenting a threat, and so the runner's more likely to try and Stargate me. And when you actually think about what's in my deck, I have 1 Offworld Office and 2 Ecoa projects and a Res Spin Doctor. So I have a pretty safe board state for at least a couple. I'm not like in danger of immediately losing. Whereas this line where they, what we end up doing is I end up resing the Void and just kind of binning my entire hand. Just like I spend 4 credits and 4 cards to protect a Rashida that only gets me 3 credits and 3 cards. I was pretty surprised that they didn't go for the run here, just to bait out my border control. I was actually pretty shocked by that. You know, I don't have any Tranquility home grids in this, which is interesting. My opponent also points out after the game that they drew exactly 0 APOCs and they have 2 left in their stack. And they are realizing that they have to win this turn, basically. And so they go for what ends up being the best line, which is to go after Archives to make me shuffle and then take a single. Because if they Stargate, they would have, even if they Stargate an Ikoa project, they can't steal it on their last click. And so I can just move my 2 Offworld Offices back into the deck. And so this is their run to get a single. They access an Ikoa project, and I win the game very nicely. So this was a really fun one. I actually like this Anoetic Void in Asa a lot. So I might actually do a quick game of that. Live. Let's see. But yeah. Hope everyone's having a nice week. It's been just a long month of stuff, so for me, but yeah, I'm surprised that it's really nice to see that Asa can win when your opponent's deck doesn't draw its like main gimmick and just draws Boat and Pinhole. And you know, it's like I wonder if these Nico campaigns should be Tranquility home grids. That might be the only change to make. But Nico, when Nico's land, they feel real good. So the other option is maybe looking... Like, I actually think Eli did a surprising amount of work that game. Like, even at 3, I don't think it's that bad for Paperclip. Let's move back to my regular chain hat. Okay, we're going to move my face here. We're going to shrink it down a bit. Or maybe going to zoom in while we can. And we'll see how this goes. Always be running Adam. So this is almost certainly World Tree, I think. Because you want to throw away the always be running. This is a not easy start. I think this is just Drafter HQ, Drafter R&D, click for a credit. In the past meta, it was possible to do a good Ace deck that killed the winner. How would you proceed with the current meta? Let's see. Give me a second here. Man, I just like this start is just, maybe I needed to just put the border control down. Yeah, I just need to put the border control down. So the big thing I would do is, so the Ace decks that did well in the past that were kill were basically Boom Asa and playing HHN. Wait, do they not have this? Oh, they don't have the HQ interface installed, so the good Adam directive is not there. Great, that helps us a lot. I guess technically they can go in here by just running the border control. We pop the end of the run after they spend 2 clicks and they've got a click left. But I just don't think that's terribly likely. Okay, let's just score. Because we're going to click up to 6. So one of the big reasons that in previous metas Aces were good kill decks was because they had Violet level clearance. Violet level clearance, it turns out, is a busted card that lets you do almost anything you want as a corp, if you can get it for no influence at least, because that allowed you to just move so fast that the runner couldn't keep up. And so you were able to do hard-hitting news, and you were able to do punitive counter-strike. Without Violet level clearance, I would definitely probably be looking solely at hard-hitting news Asa, because I think you can be a little more explosive on econ. One of the problems I think that you're gonna struggle with a little bit is that now we can res Drafter because it's kind of relevant. We've got 2 operations in the bin now. We've got cards we want to install. Beautiful. Let's actually add the next activation command. I think that's pretty nice. And we're going to install this in server 1, grabbing that as well. Is this their first click? It is their first click, so they have no idea what's on top here. But they're probably going to rip an agenda anyway because it's Adam. Oh, it's another next activation command. Cool. I don't need to rest the Gatekeeper here, but I will rest the thing that gets me money back, guaranteed. Well, I guess not guaranteed. They could spend 2 clicks to deny me 2 credits. They can't really trash this, so arguably I could let them through. But doesn't look like that's happening. Hey, that's no more. The deck list today is just continuing to tweak ASA. The big change is I dropped the global food initiatives for 2 Ikawas, and with the influence, I bought myself a gaslight and turned up border control into an anoetic void. And so far, I've played exactly 1 game of it while I was at work, and it went pretty well. So we're gonna try doing it some more. Okay, well, we're just gonna do this. So the other idea in the deck, of course, is Gaslight. So I should probably be using this fully operational just to draw cards. Because I have most of my... Yeah, it's definitely like... You could definitely look at Maryland's or Nico campaigns being Tranquility home grids. You could maybe look at lowering ice counts too. But I kind of... If everyone's going to be on Endurance, I'm wondering if being slightly higher on ice is actually nice because it slows them down a lot. And like the 419 lists we're seeing are all on like this idea that you never have to deal with that much ice, like you just kind of grind out value. So we're going to use a Gaslight, I think, here. This is where like I need something a little bit better. A seamless launch is actually not a bad grab, but I think it's a second fully operational. So we're going to just play a fully operational to draw 4 cards here. Beautiful. And we draw the last fully operational too. That's great. So now we just need to draw agendas, and we'll be playing Netrunner. So I think last click I'll just put another Gaslight in server 1. To some extent, it's just going to thin our deck. We have all the fully operationals. We have all the next activation commands. So this is going to grab a seamless launch, I think. So we'll see. This maybe is a little too weak. I'm surprised my opponent hasn't gotten World Tree out. I think that's... I mean, I think Hypno Beam also. He may just be having some fun and playing Always Be Running Atom for the heck of it. I don't think the ability on Always Be Running is particularly worth it to install. Oh, I have no shuffles here. That's annoying. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, if this is an Ikawa, we just lose. That's really unfortunate. Okay, it's not an Ikawa. Okay, so the Mad Dash doesn't actually matter here. Once they steal an Ikawa, there's no permutations. Well, no, the only permutation is that they steal the Ikawa. And that's maybe an argument not to do it. But I think I'm just going to res this 1 Gaslight. Just try and keep filtering. Okay, so we found an Ikawa. Great. So I think it's going to be Hedge Fund. Install on server 1. Let's just throw down another piece of ice. I have not been tracking what my opponent does, and also my thing has unloaded all the cards, so I'm gonna have to sort that out in a minute. It is really hard for my opponent to get in. I probably actually should have put that Gatekeeper on R&D here. We should advance this once, just so that we don't have to completely... Well, I guess we just gas apart. Yeah, Ice HQ or R&D here would be fun. Like, if I can just lose here in a pretty comical fashion. The Maryland overstall. Oh, you're totally right, that's no one. I totally could have just overinstalled the Maryland. Oh my goodness, do we really lose here? Oh no, because we can do that play again. Cool. Okay. So we'll add a next activation, and then we will install this in server 3. And then we'll shuffle Maryland to server 3. Thank you for catching that line. And hopefully that saves us the game. It looks like it does. So, chat, pro chat, better Netrunner players than I am for sure. I really want to be greedy here. If I draw an ice, Maybe I don't pop one of these gas lights so I can like fully op. Yeah, we'll just res a gatekeeper. This should keep us completely safe. We could also res the manic arm probably. I guess we can't. But yeah, they can't logic bomb through the server, so they're just gonna let these fire. And I do actually want to draw here so I can keep my momentum going. And we don't hit any agendas here. Oh my goodness. Do I want sprints? Do I want to save more influence and turn these gaslights into sprints? I can't imagine that's right, but it is kind of funny. Alright, first decoder is down. I don't think I actually popped these gaslights here. Wow. There are a lot of agendas in my deck. Okay, so let's draw 2 cards, gain 6 credits. Let's put this in a new remote. And I'm going to put this on R&D. And we've got all of the cards now. I don't think I'm going to need this hedge fund. I probably don't need 2 next activation commands. And let's say I don't need this last Nico campaign, because my hypothesis is I don't need any more money. There's a world here where I can like seamless, spin doctor back the seamlesses, because I'm not going to have extra advancement tokens. Spinning arm doesn't actually do anything, but the spin doctor does. So why are they overclocking here? Not sure. Do I got any discarded ice? No. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to install a face down, new remote. I'm going to say done. I wonder what the intent is with these 5 overclock credits. Okay, just value. I think they was maybe trying to fish out. Okay. Okay, so we have to res spin doctor, res manic arm skunk works. Okay, and our opponent's now out of resources. So I think what we're going to do is... I mean, do I just be mean? Is HQ safe enough here? I feel like I need to go something like Ice R&D. Ice HQ. Double seamless install was the other thing I was thinking about for sure. And then we're just gonna gain all the money we need for the rest of the game. There's also a world to ice archives. They're at 0-0. I'm not sure what you mean. Like they're at zero credits, I assume. With only 2 dripping, yeah. I don't think this line is particularly accurate. I think I sort of want to shore up because like there's some worlds where I just lose off of singles on R&D or HQ here. I guess they don't have the HQ interface, so like it's not actually happening. Now I definitely feel like it's seamless. Seamless. Score. And then we throw this in server 1. And there's effectively no way for them to get this, I think. The Manic Arm plus the border control and the gatekeepers, like, that'll keep them out. But yeah, hope everyone's having... Oh, I lost connection to the server, and we've reconnected. Let's just do a quick test. I mean, very clearly things are working, so I don't really need to do that. This is, I mean, to be fair, one of my biggest sins in ASA is I like to play with my food a little bit. Alright, we're emergent, or not we're emergent, we're independent thinking. And we're not getting rid of always be running. We're getting rid of safety first. I mean, the game is over this turn, but, like, I would get rid of always be running in that case. Hey, Anarcho. Are you supposed to say congrats on the new pronouns? I don't know what you're supposed to say, but I hope they're feeling good for you. So I'll show you Anarcho. We're actually playing the most straight up and down HB deck, but here's my off the wall theory. If everyone's on Mad Dash, I can just play a suboptimal agenda suite and I'll lose the same number of games. And I'll lose in the same way, but I get influence back. This Adam deck is something else. So this is just saying, okay, what if I got this 2 influence back? Well, I could play an extra Gaslight, and I could drop a board control into an Anoetic Void. And so I can maybe solve some econ, and I can solve some consistency problems with playing 2 of my key operations. I can play 14 ice. Maybe I really do want a 15th piece of ice. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I've played like 2 games and a game against an Alice where they conceded when they were at the Fairchild 3 on Archives. And I'll be honest, Narco, I will probably get them messed up, and my apologies. So, oh, cool. Very neat. For some reason, I thought Hypno Beam was UK, but yeah, cool. Well, thanks again for the game. And hopefully catch you on sometime soon. Alright. We'll do one more game probably, and then I want to start figuring out, as someone who's never tried to build a cube, what's going on in cubes, and rather than asking a bunch of experts, I'm going to read stuff they've put out. And that'll be basically the same thing. And I would love to do a slight... So I think part of what I would want to do... So as I said at the start of the stream, like, one idea I want to do is see if there's a way that we can get a cube made for Worlds this year. But I also want it to be a little bit kind of Roseville cube-ish, where it's a little bit wackier, a little bit sillier than what you can get in like a StimHack cube or a Big Boy cube. That's a lot about, like, can you immediately recognize the lanes and slide into them. And so it's like, I don't know exactly the right way to approach that, because I think doing a full Roseville cube of like 50+% brand new cards is just not something I've got the time or energy to do. Oh, I'm about to get completely run over by Rob here. All right. This is a very good start, though, to be honest. We'll pay 1 here. And then we'll throw this on HQ. Oh, come on. 2 credits, really? Ugh. And of course they're going to have a pinhole threading too, so it doesn't actually matter. But we're done. Okay, well, we drew some cards. We drew some good cards. Oh my goodness, Rob. Are you really playing Inside Job? It's like you're just trying to troll me. Ugh. I think it's draw. Yeah, this is solid. And oh, that's not where I want that to go. There we are. No, you can see what that is. Oh, I forgot to recycle everything. So it's like take the stim slack even for the bottom 20%. I actually like, yeah, like doing stuff like let's grab from Robo Runner, because Robo Runner did some great things. Ugh. Bleh. Yeah, I don't mind telling Rob when I'm on. Like, it is what it is. But yeah. Okay, I honestly think what I have to do here is like keep up tempo. I mean, this is actually a pretty solid draw. Do I draw again, or do I take 2 credits? I feel like I take 2. Maybe I shouldn't be taking 2 credits there. And I don't mind the Gaslight. I'm just going to res the Gaslight so I don't get falsified again. And then I'm just going to take a few more credits. So one of the things I've been thinking about is like a card like whatchamacallit? Like Tech Trader is a card that you see in cubes, but like is really kind of weird because it goes in exactly one archetype, which is Geist. And what I would like to see from a cube is a Tech Trader that's a little bit weaker for that specific thing, but that can go in like a little bit more of like a, oh, this could go in multiple lanes. Let's go and grab, I think we grab Seamless Launch. Yeah, and then we just go server 1. We'll pay 1. I mean, like, it's gonna get exposed and whatnot, but it is what it is. Then we're just going to click for a credit. Pirate, yeah. Okay, yeah. You can have the Managarm. Pinhole threading, get rid of the Managarm. Yeah, that's the other thing, Ginevra, is like doing rare power cards, like doing actual like packs, I think is a really fun way to also make it feel a little different from the other drafts that are out there, where you do use something like like a Trash or Busto to make power curves so that you have like that drafting experience of, okay, what's my rare? Where does that indicate that I should go? I think I res this. And then I have to pop it. Server 2. Oh, jeez. I'm playing lots of ice. Very fair corp over here. Ah. Most plain Jane corp here. It definitely is good. It definitely requires balance work. Like, okay. And now we're gonna get the stew started. We're gonna, next turn is gonna be advance, and like, okay, are you gonna see the Ikoa? Yes, you are. This is Ansel. Yeah, I mean, Ixaran, part of why I'm talking about this now is to like start chipping away at this project. I've got this would be my my third Netrunner project of the year. One of them is to update the organized play policies. I'm supposed to have that done by the end of February. 2 is fix Aesop's tables. 3, I want to be this draft pack for Worlds. Okay, so I think I put this in server 1. Yeah, we'll deny that. We will click for 2 credits, I think. I need to advance this at some point, right? Actually, if I advance this once, I am threatening to score it. Sort of. I'm not actually threatening to score this, though. Yeah, Falsify's pretty bad for me here. Oh, yeah. Jennifer, thank you for the reminder. It's tricky, like the OP guidelines definitely needs a full overhaul for readability. But it's quite tricky. Are we okay? We're gonna bravado. No way I'm resing that because I legally can't. Oh yeah, losing the next activation command is a bummer. Okay, if we can draw a fully operational off the top of the deck, I think we just get very close to winning. Because we're gear checking Crim quite hard here. Draw. Okay, so we're just gonna do this. We're gonna last click. Yeah, okay. Is it wrong that I always want to put a biotic in for exactly that reason. It feels so good against Crim. It always feels good against Crim. Which of these do I ditch? This is actually an incredibly difficult decision, I think. I think it's the drafter. Yeah, because if you have the 1x biotic, you can close out so easily. I think I just dump all my money into this Fairchild 3 and give him the single here. And we actually just deny all of the money by putting the Managarm down. Because I think this is like more valuable to me than Rob getting a single. Oh, and he gets the Ikoa. That's a bummer. And he gets the Luminal. Oof. Oof. We haven't... Okay. We're gonna draw... Okay. Well, I'm getting a little punished for not playing my fully op here. Okay. Jeez. I, like, really just want to fully opt for value here, and I can't do it. And I can't throw this in server 1, because I just lose the game a little bit too often. Do we click for a credit here? Yeah, I mean... This is why Rob is a top tier snare bear, and I'm a bottom feeder snare bear who just makes I'm the PR snare bear. That's why I was recruited in. So we actually have a sick next turn, which is, well, sick, which is install these 2 cards in server 1 and hope that wins us the game. Okay. No, honestly, you can see that that's an off-world office. Okay, and so now we're going to draw 2 cards, gain 6 credits, and end the turn. There's also an option where instead of doing that, we do some other shenanigans. So I can't rest the Ansel here. I'll draw 3 here. Sounds good to me. So we'll trigger the Managarm first. And then we will pay 2 and trash 2 cards. That will be this card, and I don't think the next activation command is relevant. It's match does stop boomerang. That's true. Yeah, that's sort of a reason to keep it. Yeah, it's like, it's not, Rob is like, it's not super relevant because I have the Spin Doctor here as well. Though there's no way I'm actually scoring out here unless I like res the Spin Doctor, shuffle back the Seamless. And we're just gonna have to hope that R&D can hold it here, but it probably can't, honestly. Oh, okay, it did. Wow, that's actually quite lucky. Oh, cool. Yeah, you can just barely break it. Okay, and then we'll let Unbroken. Oop. Okay. And yeah, I just had nothing in hand. So, yeah, very cool. Yeah, it's a fun feeling rush. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I like definitely lost some steam somewhere in the middle of that game trying to focus on those final turns. Yeah, that was good. I don't get to beat Rob very often, but you know, him being out of practice is certainly a help. And 419, boy, does a whole lot of work that game. Quite a powerful idea, all things considered. But yeah, what are my stats on this deck now? Okay, undefeated on JNet, new meta breaker. I remember so in addition to those 3 projects, I'm also trying to make videos every other week, and I know I'm like I'm now a day behind my last one, but in my defense, my work has completely slammed me. And it's also, for everyone who watches my stream regularly, it's basically just going to be my last stream, where I'm going to break down my visuals and try and break down the overview stats, and also put up that notebook up for public consumption and try and clean that code up a little bit. I then might try and just do some shorter videos where I just talk about, like, try and do like a 10-minute video about each of the main pillar archetypes here of like Reality Plus, 419, Hoshiko. I'll probably give NJP's op a little shout out as well. And I feel like, you know, doing like a I was a big fan of Jeff Gusnoy at Python stream last week. I'm glad people. At one moment in that stream, when I'm like super annoyed at how the like, Ixaron, the Aesop's Table project, yes. Let me see if I have the link to it somewhere that I can grab. It's a, here we are. It is my attempt to build a Cobra that can handle single-sided Swiss. So I built a website that was called Aesop's Tables, and it only kind of worked. Well, that's actually not true. It worked, given that you were randomly in a zone that the server would allow you to log into. It just randomly gave 404 errors to some people. My assumption was it was something to do with the database getting overloaded. I'm not actually sure, but since then, Trash or Busto doesn't have that problem. Oh, and I apparently don't have the link saved on this. trashorbusto.heroku.net? Nope. Okay. Is it heroku.com? Man, I don't know the link to my own website. That's a good sign. See if I can find a link to it. Ah, there we are. Oh, it's just .com. I was so close. I don't know why I thought Heroku was a .net. But basically, this has had no problems. And so my goal was to migrate the Aesop's Tables with the knowledge I gained making Trash or Busto to make Aesop's Tables work. And Ixaron, the reason that single-sided Swiss seems like the feature for OP competitive tournaments is that I am the one who has been pushing for it after getting... well, I should say first, I owe Simon Moon / Kenny the real credit there, because he's the one who was like, we should fix this format thing, and there's a solution out there. I then spent a lot of time doing math on it to show that it made sense, at least to me. And then no one wanted to code it, so I said, well, okay, I'll code it myself. And actually, I think a local metamate put something together about making a Docker file. I should ping them and be like, so this project's a mess, but how can I make this something that people can iterate on? It's actually, I've got the pairing algorithm worked out. or re-implemented working with a database. The things I need to do is add systems for creating buy rounds or buy players to fill out buys. And I don't like the solution I'm going on, but it's a hard one to think about because just for we're gonna dig deep in the code for a second here if I remember how it goes. Oh yeah, okay, right. I actually changed how this works in a huge way. So I never actually had, and like I'm like kicking myself because I think this is maybe a decision I made that's incorrect. Hey Andre, so Cobra AI does not support single-sided Swiss. That said, I worked with someone back right at the beginning of the pandemic. Ben has an open branch that has it entirely implemented with the everything. Like the user interface is updated, the scoring is updated. The only thing that we couldn't figure out how to do was how to make it so that you could pair against the same player twice on opposite sides. And we submitted, Ben submitted a pull request to Jono, and then NSG took it over, and we have a couple of times I sent a message over to the NSG dev saying, hey, we'd like to do single-sided Swiss. There's this pull request sitting there that's got it ready to go, and we've done this circle a couple of times, and maybe I'll go and ping them again after this. Because it is actually ready to go, and if that happens, I get to just cross this project off my list. Because while I think Aesop's Tables does like two things better than Cobra, the one of them just being that players can self-report their results. So actually, if you give me a moment, we're gonna make a new terminal window over here, and I'm gonna just do what everyone loves, which is do stuff off camera. Oh wait, do I not have this work? Oh no, I do. Okay. Let's see, and then I go. Do I have a Venv here? I feel like I should, but maybe I don't. Sorry that I'm just doing stuff off screen entirely. Okay. Activate Aesop's Tables, and then we can go Flask run. Okay, great. So give me 1 second. So, oh, okay. Apparently I don't have that set up Oh, okay, never mind. I forgot. So here's the steps I have to do. I have to sort on Aesop's Tables. I have to sort. I have to sort out the buys, and then I have to go and rebuild the entire website front end. And so like I have a different repo where it's working called SAS, Site Aware Swiss Software. So that's one I'm proud of. And yeah, so this I probably could get up and running, and it's an incredibly simple UI, but I feel like this stream shouldn't just be Jeff complains about his coding projects, and should be Jeff does stuff that's slightly more related to Netrunner. Oh yeah, no, Ixaron, like this is okay. We're going way back. We're gonna go. Oh, this is actually hilarious. I got a spam email from someone claiming that I was in the top 10 of Netrunner blogs on WordPress. Let's see if I can do Netrunner Swiss and see if Google finds me. Oh, it does. Let's go, Google. Okay, So the very first thing I did, like literally probably the first thing I did as like a large public thing in the Netrunner community, was what's this? I mean, it is probably true, Andre. This blog that I haven't touched in many, many years at this point. It's actually kind of, yeah, 2021, so 2 years ago. This probably is the highest Netrunner thing. It read like a spam email, though. It was very, like, cut and paste form stuff, but this is like the first bit of content stuff I made was going through some math of this stuff. I'm trying to remember which one. Oh, here we are. I did a bunch of coding. I remember, thanks to the 7 of you that responded to my survey. If I had done this again now, I could probably get a little bit more than 7 respondents. And basically, it's funny. Like, it's the weird thing where like I wanted to do a finite cap on how much time I spent doing simulations, and I had actually like 2 years before this, I think. Someone at NSG was like, "Oh yeah, Almafi Swiss will help reduce the amount of 2-for-1s and IDs," and I was like, "I don't think that's going to be the case. How big of an effect could it be?" And so at the time, I wrote a really bad simulator, and then what I was trying to do was have the players in the final round guess whether or not they should 2-for-1 or ID. And that kind of worked, but the way I did it was I had each player, and I don't know why I did it this way, but it was the way I did it. Each player would simulate all of the possible outcomes and then figure out in what percentage of the outcomes they made it into the top cut. There are a lot of ways I think now I could spend a little bit of time and think about it more and go like, oh yeah, there's better ways to do this, and could maybe have do this math again quickly with some of these like newer things I've been learning about, coding, because I am entirely self-taught on coding, anything with coding. I just have like some mathematical background. So for this, I don't have any 2-for-1s or IDing. So it doesn't actually show the compression you get. Actually, hold on. But we do have a figure that shows the compression we get, which I will actually switch over to real quick. Why is VS Code not going? There we go. Okay. I have to fix those colors. This is the 2-for-1s and IDs. This figure is actually the clumpings thing, because right, like this, it has like this half of the plot of the people that win more than half their games is higher than the people that don't. So yeah. So there's definitely strong clumping in double-sided Swiss. I guess I can post this in chat. Just maybe one day I'll do. One day I do want to do a deep dive video on single-sided Swiss, but I'm kind of waiting till people can actually consistently run it. What I have done is this. Like, if anyone wants to run single-sided Swiss, and like I actually set this up for people that couldn't really even code. This is the thing that you can run a single-sided Swiss tournament on your own if you want to. And it allows people to do matches against themselves, etc., etc. But I basically went and did a bunch of math, and I said, okay, if I make a seeded group of players, and they have this like at the time I thought it was a reasonable distribution. And I did, let's see. I forget exactly. I did sort of like a long tail distribution where like the top players were much better, and then there was a sort of a hump in the middle, but it was like not actually a normal distribution. It was like a longer high level skill like tail, and then like the bump was kind of pushed back. And so this was what I was doing was I was trying to say, if you are the best player at an event with this skill distribution, if you play 10,000 tournaments in single-sided Swiss and double-sided Swiss, and every time we have a matchup, we flip a weighted coin based on the differences between the skill level of you and your opponent, how often do you end up in the first position at the end of Swiss versus the last position at the end of Swiss? And basically what I was showing was like, oh, hey, there's no difference if you play the same number of rounds. Oh, actually, no. This is 4 rounds of double-sided Swiss and 6 rounds of single-sided Swiss. So basically what this is saying is, oh, we can actually play fewer games of single-sided Swiss and get effectively the same rankings of all the players if we assume a certain player skill distribution. And so really what I should have done is also tested a bunch of different player skill distributions. And then I have some numbers on how I did stats for this. I did some absolutely not eye-burning graphics here, where basically there's some level off where as you play more games, you get more and more accurate rankings. Though it's funny, even when you play only like 1 or 2 games, like you end up with sort of accidentally okay rankings. But I think that's an artifact of how I was sorting people. I probably, if I had shuffled it, if I had given everyone their scores, shuffled them, and then done the rankings, I would get a lower correlation here. Also, the 0 here is a weird axis. And for different number of players, basically, your double-sided Swiss events don't produce better results. I have a derailing question. How many games should we run in an async single-sided Swiss tournament to get the same accuracy level? Assume 50 players if that helps. Okay, let's see if I can open up this graphic. I can't. Okay. Let's see if I can open this image in a new tab. Oh, okay, it did open it in a new tab. Okay, let's see if we can zoom in at all. No. Okay. So, I do happen to have 50 here, right? So what I'm saying is, okay, so the 50 players, I think is usually what, like 8 matches, 4 rounds of double-sided Swiss. So to me, it depends on how accurate, right? So basically, the way these rankings work is that, like, yeah, single-sided Swiss is like maybe slightly more accurate at the exact same number of games played, and slightly less, but still within the standard deviation accurate at 2 fewer games played always. And when you get to really high player counts, it's so flat that you can actually jump down a lot of games. Now, that said, this data is old. I'd have to look at this again. But I would say, if I'm remembering correctly, and 50 players is well, actually, 50 players is probably 10 rounds. I would say you can definitely play 8 games of single-sided Swiss. And you might, like, when you get down to 6, you're starting to see a pretty noticeable fall off. Like, the quartile boxes are no longer overlapping. So, like, just based on this plot, that's kind of where I would put the threshold. But I'm not sure that these results actually hold necessarily. The other thing I will say is, for an asynchronous event, I'm not as sure that single-sided Swiss makes quite as much sense, unless you're really bothered by 2-for-1s. Because one of the reasons you play fewer rounds of single-sided Swiss is so that you can fit in the same length tournament day. Because a single-sided Swiss round is functionally longer than like 2 rounds of single-sided Swiss. Long term, I wish GLC async COs could be fewer rounds because the rounds being spread over weeks becomes tiring. I hear that. To me, the way you do that is you do accelerated pairings. But I'm not sure exactly what the right way to do it is. I wonder if you could do like a pseudo single-sided Swiss where you have each person pairs up against 2 other people and they play their corp against 1 player and their runner against 1 player, and you do the pairing based on their cumulative score up to the point where you pair, and you just redo that every week. And so you are scheduling 2 matches per week, but you're not trying to schedule half of the matches in the first half of the week and half of the matches in the other half of the week, which I agree isn't really possible. Yeah, I think when you're at like 8 players or something, the difference in single-sided versus double-sided, I don't know how much it matter, how much you can do for that. But I'm trying to think if there's a story of 3 little Swisses. Oh yeah, this was my survey results. I forgot that I ran 2 30-something person tournaments. And that startup was like basically the same size. But yeah, I don't know. I did. Oh man, I forgot about this. That I like did. Yeah. Okay, anyway, that's enough of like okay, so this has been a long tangent. I'm working on trying to get this sorted. I should probably just bug web dev and be like, please guys, there's a thing. If you're doing Ixaron, what's the right answer when it comes to assigning seats? Am I supposed to reseed the seating after the first draft? I have not drafted enough, to be honest, to know how you should be spacing people who are drafting based on seats. Like if you're doing multiple drafts in a day, I don't know. Like I know MTG does some stuff like that, and I think Flesh and Blood also does some limited cube things where you play like 3 games and then seed into another draft and stuff. I don't know. I have not looked into any of that stuff yet, so that's one of the things I'm going to be doing. Presumably, if I get further into this draft project. But yeah, there's okay. But yeah, I wish I wonder if I can find the Roseville Cube cards. Let's see. Ooh. I did hear that CTZ showed up somewhere recently, so I'm glad to hear he's still around. Okay, so this is the images. Let's just go through. Let's go grab the PDF. I totally agree, Ginevra. I do wish these were all. Is this seems like just the original? Okay, this is just the original one because yeah, I think the Butcher pass priority. This feels like the trying to look if this is the second one. I maybe have to just reach out to CTZ and see if I can get a copy of it. What was the deck that I ran that was a ton of fun? Yeah, I totally agree. I would love to see them back. And like, I know there was some EDI kerfuffle over a couple of cards, which is maybe why they're not there. But yeah, wager a sci game. This is definitely pull up. Rifle. Maybe this isn't. Maybe this is the sheet 1, not the sheet 2. Yeah, okay, this is the sheet 1. This doesn't have the second one. I thought the second draft set was actually much better than the first draft set. That's a bummer. I'll see if, and also, like, I don't know how CTC did the art, and that might be part of why it's not around. But yeah. But like, as I was talking about earlier, right, like, it's something like, I would love to make Tech Trader be like, instead of whenever you use a trash can ability, something like the first time a card you trash a card each turn, gain 2 credits. It's not unique. You can draft it, and that way it can do some of this Geist nonsense. But it could also, and you could put like a Geist in the cube, and Geist would still be good, even though it would be a bit weaker with this Tech Trader, because it would be once per turn rather than a whenever ability. But if you were, say, an Anarch playing Imp, or basically a better Wasteland Shishu. Like, Wasteland's such a bad card, we could print a better version of it, and if you're not paying real influence for it, it's totally fine, right? And then, like, oh yeah, if I'm playing an Anarch deck in draft, and I draft, like, Freedom, Imp, Knobkery, I was gonna say a card Ixaron. So, like, you could also put it in an Aesop's engine, right? You could put it in an Aesop's engine, you could put it in a Knobkery Imp engine, or if you're a real wacko, you could put it in a Carnivore engine. And you can just, like, trash the corpse stuff. Like, you can use Parasite to gain $2. To me, that seems like a fun idea. Probably not a balanced idea, but part of the goal would be to make the archetypes a little bit less forced. Because one of the things we found, or I found a lot, is that we've done a bunch of auction drafts, or I've done a bunch of, like, auction or snake drafts, and let's see if I can find a snake draft real quick. And this is going to be a shame one for me somewhere, because I literally played 0 games in the snake draft. So y'all should shame me and not let me draft with you. I swear, I intended to play it and just had life come out. But what you end up getting is like, oh yeah, one player does counter surveillance, one player does and there's no competition, and really you're just hate drafting when you go and block other people's lanes, and you're never, like, picking up a value card that, like, kind of fits in. And similarly in the corp, like, you get, like, oh, we're gonna do combo sports medal, we're gonna do prison Gagarin, we're gonna do I think actually this might have been a standard draft, so we couldn't do prison IG. And so you just end up with these, like, really narrow lanes where no one's really counterpicking. You're not really doing an interactive draft. And you just feel bad when you see a power card and you're like, well, I could pick this power card for a different archetype, but it's better, like, as a corp, I just have to have playable pieces of ice. Ixaron, I actually don't think a gain 2 credits when you trash a card is an autoplay by any means. If we look at something like let's say you're playing against this ASA list and you have no ways to trigger it in your deck, and it you and it like costs 2 to install, right? Vale, this was Oscillate's goal to try and get us to fuse. It hasn't really happened. That was the UK Nats thing was like I'm gonna call it a special case, but I don't know, because there's some legitimately the process and bears do look at Netrunner differently, so and have slightly different goals. So I think that's kind of one of the interesting things right now that I was talking about with some and I should say because I know I complained on stream a little bit about being annoyed that Unbanned didn't seem to bring as tryhard decks to Fight Night, and so Snare Bears hurt themselves. And after talking to them, they had a very good rationale. We were coming in for a different thing in Fight Night. We picked our players based on availability and said, the way that we work is we try and get everyone to play a deck that they're happy with. Whereas the Snare Bear process was, what are the best 4 Corp decks we can build? What are the best 4 Runner decks we can build? Okay, who's gonna play which deck? And so it's almost like it's a communal top-down approach rather than a communal supportive individualist approach. And so I actually think most of the different testing groups are on some spectrum of that. And that's fine, and that's good, and that's probably why different to some extent that's why different testing groups are always going to exist, because different people want different things out of the game, but people do want to get better. And there's also an argument that, oh, you should just absolve testing groups, but to some extent you're saying, oh, we should absolve being friends with people. I don't think Scrubber is a good limited card. I really everyone. This is I don't want to. I don't want to be too rude, Ixaron, but people put Scrubber in decks way more often than they should. It is one of the cards that I always see. I was seeing in Startup and Ashes all the time, and it's just a waste of a card in a slot. If you're installing a 2-cost card worth 2 credits, it has to trigger 3 times to make you 1 credit worth of value. I think, right? First time it breaks even. I guess the second time you've maybe made a credit, and the third time you've played an easy mark. And so, so I think people tend to overvalue potential infinite credits when their ability to be realized is limited. I could see it being reasonable in current Startup. I could buy that. But I don't think in most draft sets that Scrubber is a good pick. You basically have to remove every other econ card that makes 3 credits or more for Scrubber to be good. And Startup, I actually think is in that spot more or less. When you go and look at the Startup card pool, man, I'm just becoming Metropole Grid, where I don't play Netrunner anymore. I just talk about playing Netrunner. Yeah, basically that's my point, Satsug. It's basically almost no draft that I have ever played in has econ so bad that Scrubber is a snap pick. You can grab it and you can put it in your deck, but let's say we look at the Stim Hack Cube, okay, we've got Account Siphon, 1x Bravado, builds, I would put a build script in before I'd put a, yeah, you hate assets, fine, Bones, Parisia. Yeah, Bravado, build script. Carpe Diem is, I would still play Carpe Diem before I play a Scrubber. Jimmy, I'm actually not coming. I'm not drafting this Sunday because I have What am I doing? I felt like I have come to a ton of drafts. I wanted to give other people the shot, Jamie, and then also, like, I should give my wife some of my time and not just spend it all playing Netrunner. But basically, like, if I look at all the uh, and honestly, what it might just be is I spend the whole weekend coding Netrunner projects instead. We'll see. Like, there are so many econ cards in this draft pool that, like, Scrubber is just so low on the on my like, oh, I should definitely pick this up list. Because yeah, I can grab where are we? I could have sworn I saw it. Where were you? What's your name? Miss Bones. How does the alphabet work? Is better. Yeah, you can grab off-campus apartment. Like Scrubber is like, it's a little bit too weak in most situations for me, where it's just a card that relies on your opponent playing stuff to turn it on. Vale, I haven't, because I haven't actually tried to build any single piece of this cube. But the thing I want to do that's a little bit ambitious is, instead of making it a strict cube, is making it a little bit closer to like a MTG draft experience, where there are like rares and like uncommons and commons, so that like you can build specific decks and get some pushes to go for specific decks. But it's like, you're not going to have someone just randomly open 3 account siphons. Yeah, like a Mythic Geist, I think, would be super cool. And that would be like, oh, why I'd want to include something like that, that boosted Wasteland, like the Super Wasteland, as like an uncommon. Because you could put that in a couple different decks, and it goes in that Mythic Geist deck, but but it can also go in like a Knobkery Freedom deck or something that you could also put at like an uncommon level kind of thing. If Jamie, I'm actually like, okay, there's a couple of things here. Probably the thing I really want to make sure that drafting can happen at Worlds, and so the like base level lowest effort thing is probably going to be to like try and run the StimHack cube, and then like get NPC to like make me like 2 StimHack cubes, where I just like either, you know, get fake art assets, just print the cards on NPC and say I'm not selling them for profit, and see if they let me get away with it, or get them as printing proofs, or DTC is probably actually cheaper. Bring 2 copies of that to Worlds, and then we can fire, you know, at Worlds you can fire 2 draft pods simultaneously and like improve that experience. The really ambitious one is to build a new cube that potentially, you know, includes some like unset style design cards, or some discarded cards for playtesting that were too busted for constructed but were a lot of fun to play. Like the Shaper console I alluded to was like a great draft card because it's imbalanced, but it was just a lot of fun. And so like one potential permutation of that is you do something like you have a distribution of rares, uncommons, and commons, and you build some cube. You kind of build a cube that way. It's a bit weird. But I think the draft only cards is a thing that would be a lot of fun, and was like one of the most fun parts of Roseville drafting, was that like I actually didn't know the Roseville set. Like I had watched a couple of streams of it. So you would just open up a hand of cards and go, what does this do? And like I more or less invented the rules for how a card worked just so that I could break it in my own special way. That was a lot of fun. There was basically a card that let you, it was called Hole Up, and it had Interrupt, and it said when you would resolve a paid ability, you may resolve another paid ability. And it had something about ignoring costs. Or no, it said you may resolve the ability. And so my argument was that that card let me do something like, oh, I will like use a penny shaver, which is click whatever, that's an ability. And then I get to activate any number of abilities I wanted to on cards. But activating the ability didn't require playing the costs. And so, or at least that was my interpretation, is like activate the ability, the active part is independent of the cost. I don't know if that's actually true, and Jamie will scold me for it, but so I would be like, oh, I have a Clan Vengeance down, so I'm going to click my Penny Shaver and fire a Clan Vengeance for free. And it was like, it was all made up wording, and it was a little bit silly. I also had a thing that let me, I had a basically infinite click generator as well. So we decided to make it so that Hole Up only triggered once per turn, which still meant I had one of the most broken prison decks that you could build on our side. And I actually, yeah, that was a weird event. You should listen to the Slumscast episode. They made a movie-length thing about it, and I guessed it on that. Yeah, and real rarity does help with card quantities as well. So it's like, oh yeah, you could put like a Temujin contract at like a rare, right? So like you're probably only going to see 1 to 3 of these, and this would be like a snap pick, so maybe you don't actually put this in the packs or anything. But you could put something like you have a lot of flexibility, and you could carve up the pool in a bunch of ways. And like I think rather than being like, oh, we have to make whole new archetypes, it's about saying what cards already exist that are a little bit weak that we could push into having a little bit more cross archetype utility. And I don't know. And maybe you have like a special ID draft round. I really like the ID drafting, but I could also see putting them in as just rares and stuff. I also have to think about the deck sizes. Maybe you do have to play the 30-34. But I really like 40-45 Netrunner, or 45-49 Netrunner. But there's definitely an argument to be made that like, oh yeah, if you're going to draft only 3 packs, you probably do want to have your rares at a certain density. Or you make slightly smaller packs and do stuff like that. But I don't know, it's sort of a thought. It'd be interesting. It's like, oh yeah, Sure Gamble should probably be like an uncommon at least, or something like that. Or maybe everyone just starts with 3 Sure Gambles, like it's like your basic lands, and that's fine. And you put like Rizeki at uncommon, so it gets snatched up. Maybe Rizeki could even be a rare. Who knows? Yeah, it's like it's a ton of work to impose rarity, so it's almost certainly not going to happen. But I think it would be interesting. To give it a shot. Maybe it's like, I don't know. Do people want... viewers are low, so I probably should play Netrunner so viewers go back up. Because people are... Low viewer numbers mostly means people are bouncing, I think. And Jamie, yeah, the idea would still be probably you would open up runner packs and court packs separately. I think it would be super weird to me. Like, okay, so let's think about this. If we have to make our deck entirely from drafts, right? And we're playing a 30 card deck. Like, let's just say we're gonna do a 34 card corp deck and a 30 card runner deck. That means we have to draft 65 cards. But in actuality, you're not going to play every card. So you probably need to draft something like 80 cards, which is a lot. Like, that's a lot of passing. And doing that at once and having to balance how many cards you grab for runner side versus corpse side just seems like such a headache, where you're just waiting to have people make mistakes, and just having to hand out like blank cards to people and stuff. I think it's probably not worth it compared to doing, like, you know, drafting 50 runner cards and 55 corp cards, maybe probably 60 corp cards, which is a lot of drafting, to be honest. Like packs of 10 with a pool of 8 people, that's gonna go slow. Yeah. So Jamie, I've actually, like, I've done a decent amount of MTG constructed drafting, but it's such a different, like, because you have basic lands that eat up a third of your deck. Like, it's a very different experience. Yeah, so it's like we have to have a higher hit rate, and so, like, the commons actually need to be pretty solid, and you need to be able to play a lot of commons in a good variety of decks, which is really tricky. The other option maybe is you do, like, I'm wondering if you could do like a I mean, so you could actually put factioning back into drafted Netrunner. Like, I think something that, and I didn't shout it out here, the Big Boy Cube does, is to pick your IDs. You actually look at, you count up your influence total, and that tells you what faction you're in. But you could potentially, if you build your your pools right, you could just put enough cards in and have people just build standard legal decks. Because, like, you could, but that's a lot of cards to draft, right? Because then you actually have to draft a lot, or you have to put a ton of neutrals in. I think about Flesh and Blood, you have 3 to 4 heroes, and the cards are faction locked, no influence. I think you could with more packs mix up Corp and Runner. Yeah, so that's sealed rather than draft. But yeah, that actually is a good point, that Flesh and Blood does basically do really hardcore faction locking. And you could you probably could do it in Netrunner. You probably do just have, I think you probably just do have to give up and do small decks to make this draftable in the same amount of time. But, like, I could actually see, like, including influence as part of the deck building restrictions being, like, actually a pretty legitimate thing. And maybe you give -10 deck size plus 5 influence, so everyone's playing a 20 influence, 35 card ID as the default. Or you just like, because they're going to be drafting the IDs as well, right? You put them in. I don't have any docs I can do on this one. Whichever, it's totally fine. I also didn't know. Not everyone's going to know what sealed and versus draft kind of things are. Yeah, I mean, that would be the reason to faction lock, is that it actually can make the draft go much faster. Which, if we're drafting a lot, maybe makes a difference. You get a more varied experience when you don't faction lock, but I also think the other thing that faction locking does that's kind of nice is it helps smooth, like, it balances, like, I think what it does is it helps balance expectations when you sit down to actually play the game. Because if I sit down against my draft opponent, or if I sit down to play a regular Netrunner match, and my opponent is playing a Shaper ID, I can be pretty confident I'm not going to get account siphon locked. But if I do it in a draft where there's 0 faction enforcement, it actually kind of sucks, because I just have, or that experience of putting high-powered cards in the cube, if you want to put high-powered cards in the cube and you don't have any factional steering, it makes the draft, in my experience, super like swingy based on who picked up what and like just what was in the first pack and what was in the second pack. Like it often makes pack cube stuff feel a little swingy, but that also might just be because I tend to play fairly high-powered draft cubes, and I would probably want a slightly higher-powered draft cube. So, like, the thing that the big boys cube does, where it gives you a little bit of hint, where like, oh yeah, if I spent all my influence on criminal cards, yeah, I'm going to have a criminal ID, and so when I sit down at my table, my opponent's going to know that I'm playing a criminal deck and should expect some standard criminal tricks. And so, like, potentially the influence mechanic can still work to help still give that guidance. Like in MTG drafts, it's not like, oh, I get to play a rainbow colored land, and so like, yeah, I can play my green cards and my white cards and my black cards all in the deck without having to worry about things. It becomes a thing you draft around, which I think is interesting. And it does speed up a lot of drafts. And yes, it does mean you get some unplayable cards at the very end of the draft, but like, often those cards are going to be unplayable or low playable anyway. So I actually kind of like the idea of maybe if we're already tweaking cards, you could tweak IDs to play with card slot numbers and influence numbers, but you could do stuff. Yes, I am aware in MTG drafts you can play 3 to 5 color piles, but you have to draft to support it, right? You have to spend resources to make that work, which is more my point. Whereas when we're doing Netrunner drafts with no faction like keying at all, you're not spending any resources to play the best card from every faction, which I think is a thing to look at. And it's like, at the same time, I'm like, oh yeah, probably I want agendas to be free. But I don't know. Let's play a little bit more. I'll maybe try and put some ideas together for a drafty idea, but yeah, and I guess Ixaron, part of it is I think that Netrunner is a fundamentally really strong game, and so I'm a little bit wary of weakening its fundamentals. And like, you could argue that influence is not fundamental. It's oh, cool. I think I mean, you could make people play Nova and Ampere. I actually, like, to me, that one of the reasons I don't like Nova and Ampere is they don't actually do anything exciting for me. Oh, this is a rough start. At least we didn't draw agendas. So we just died at Dirty Laundry. We died at Sure Gamble Run, which is quite unfortunate. Maybe we do want one extra piece of ice in here. Oh, I should maybe move my face. There we are. Make it smaller too. I should not always install my cards in the same. Sorry, Jamie. This is gonna take me a second. In a Game of Thrones Second Edition, you get 4 deck building choices. Build with 1 primary faction and 1 secondary faction. Play a primary faction at a discount once per round. Build with 1 primary faction and knight and army cards from all factions. You have... Sorry, it's like being broken up really weirdly on my screen. Okay, so we got lucky because our opponent just guessed wrong here. And wow, we are just drawing. Okay. Oh, I think I see. Okay, so you have 4 primary deck building choices. The first one is build with 1 primary faction and 1 secondary faction. Play primary faction cards at a discount once per round. Build with 1 primary faction and the knight and army cards from all factions. You have a way to give a particular ability to one of your knight army characters each round. The next one is build with 1 primary and 2 secondary factions. Once per round, you can draw and discard. And then finally, build with all the factions. Everything outside your primary faction costs +1. So extra, like I know there are good arguments out there for why influence is not a good system. I think the thing that I like about influence, especially in the context of draft, is it does signaling for both building the deck and playing against the deck, which I think is really important if you want to play a high-powered draft pool. And to me, that's why a lot of people, or for me, I really want to, like, I want to play a draft, not to play a startup level experience, or I don't want the power level I don't want my high powers to be startup capped. I want my high powers to be like halfway between eternal and standard capped. Man, getting 2 Rashidas is really good. And so from that perspective, being able to signal for the drafter that, like, oh, I got a really good Crim card, I should look for more Crim cards to round out my deck. Yes, Jamie, we definitely will, and I do want to make some World Breakers. I do want to try and make some World Breakers content at some point. It was a lot of fun. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do some weird shenanigans here. Opponent really has no money. I don't think I'm that worried about the Ikawa. Yeah, Jamie, I'm probably not going to take you up on it right now, but... Yeah, I'm hoping so, Jamie. I'm hoping we can get that in soon. I'll just say, extra, like, I've had a lot of fun with influence in drafts. Like, even just having it be your highest influence pick is lets you pick your IDs. So you start piloting your picks and your deck building discussions so that you can get the ID ability you want. Has made for me, fun draft experiences. Okay, I just go and grab 2 seamless launches with these gaslights. Oh, my magnet's gone. That's a bummer. Okay. Gaslight. Seamless launch. Seamless launch. I think I actually want the ice more than I want the Managarm here. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll admit it's not the most elegant way to do it. And that's partly why I'm like, oh, maybe you just, like, implement regular influence and then let people, like, drafts, like, you throw some cards in the pack that are, like, substandard econ, that, like, give you some extra influence. Like, that could be something that you include in the draft pack so that everyone gets some, like, splashing around money. Like, you include, like, a, infiltration, and it just says, if you include this in your deck, you can play with 2 additional influence. Yeah, I know. That way, you know, if you want to be very tight and build a high-powered 45-15, like, or a 40-15, whatever it ends up being, like, we can make it so that that's possible. But if you want to have a little more slop and build some more out there stuff, like, you have options. And yeah, like, as Jamie is saying, like, yeah, there's no one definitive draft format. You pick your goals. Actually, I'm gonna go to the intro screen real quick. Do a reload myself. Okay, and great, stuff is back. Do I rush this drafter? Probably not. It doesn't do anything. Until they play a Stargate, I don't need to rush the drafter, and I'm probably just going to overwrite this anyway. So I think my next turn could be something like overwrite this, install the Ikoa with the Anoetic, and advance it one time. And we can, like, reinstall Rashidas and things. Paladin's just a pain in the arse, though. I guess it's put down the Eli, right? What breakers are in the bin? Just MK? Okay. I think this drafter's bad now. And I guess we advance this one time. And we can advance seamless, and be in a very nice spot. And if Stargate comes down this turn, that's a bummer. If APOC comes down this turn, I've been got. And yeah, we'll see. We can definitely get got here, but the goal is to not get got. Turn 5, we're rushing to 5 points. Seems okay. We're down. I mean, like, hitting double Rashida is just, like, kind of broken, I think. Oof. Oof. Yep, no point in resing here. You just have to survive this turn. So we're going to say goodbye to the Project Vitruvius. So I actually think what I might do is slow down. Because I actually think this, shockingly, this server, I think, is just very safe. And so we just want to take the time to ice it up. I do think this border control trash is not unreasonable, because you're basically saying, oh, you're going to draw this Vitruvius and be pretty sad to have done so. I think the particular board state we have and the exact cards we have make that actually maybe not the case as much as it normally would be. And like we're like, this is a hard matchup. Like this is the matchup that is going to cause us to struggle a lot. I think we might even just overwrite this drafter with a drafter. I think that does enough for us. So it's something like overwrite. We could double seamless. It might just be overwrite, advance, and then play the fully operational for 3 credits. Oh, you know what, Thomas? That's exactly why they're not trashing the Vitruvius here. Though I think it's fine if they do. Like, they don't mind using my Vitruvius counters to get the thing. So. Okay. Yeah, so we're drawing the next activation command, which is a bummer. Oh, I guess it's not a bummer here. Actually, we can just go... next. We could double seamless here. Oh, that's actually... You know what? I think that's... Well... Then we're just going to advance this a single time. And so now they can't actually Stargate this turn. We can seamless advance and then put the Vitruvius in server 4. And they get through the Eli for free for one time. Then we get to do the Void, Skunk Void, and then they get in, I think. Or we can grab our next, we can re-grab the next activation command. No, we don't have the clicks for that. So that's not going to work. They actually have the MK Ultra to get in here, but I don't think they know that. And it's actually pretty painful to break this with MK Ultra. Okay, moshing, they're probably going to get the other 2 breakers in the heap. Okay, they got Paperclip in the heap. It's still not cheap to get through this Eli, though. 6 base strength Eli this turn. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ixran, I think I appreciate talking with it. Sorry for being a little aggro, I think, when discussing it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Jamie, I like, part of the reason I'm floating it on a stream is so that I can get some people to help out. Because, it's not something I think I can do a great job of on my own. So I don't want it to be any one person as either. So it's 2 plus another 6, I think. So them spending 8 to break my 3-cost piece of ice, and they're sort of 2-for-1ing themselves with the Botulus, or it's like Hippo, Botulus, and the MK Ultra all coming in. And I think they kind of have to deal with it. Like, they have to actually break this, because I could, in theory, have a Spin Doctor. And also firing the Rashida would be pretty bad for them. Um, now we just have to hope they don't win off the Stargate here. We might even just draft her seamless advance and score out. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable line. A Project Ikawa, a fully operational next activation command. Okay. Yeah, I think trashing the Ikawa project is not unreasonable. Okay. So what is my actual play here? I think I have to score this Ikawa. Yeah, I mean, they had the Stargate on exactly the turn we needed them to not have the Stargate. So, what's our solution? So I can't res the ice, fire the Manic Arm, and everything. Yeah, I mean, actually, as we're thinking about the draft, like, maybe the way you do it for Worlds... Oh, just not another agenda on top, please. Goodbye, Fairchild 3. You have one group of players drafting Corp, one group of players drafting Runner, and I guess you probably, to do it correctly, you do it as a team event. And you do team matches, or you just uncouple the team. You don't actually do coupled team matches. You just do other matches. Like, you still have a team, so the combined score is the winning thing, and I don't know. There's not a good way to, like, make it truly team. Actually, I guess, okay, you could have people sitting in pairs, and they're looking at a Runner and Corp pack simultaneously, and you have 30 seconds to make you have, like, a minute for the first pack, 45 seconds for the second pick, and then 30 seconds for every pick after, and you can confer with other people a little bit. But really surprised that we're not challenging this Ikawa that's in Archives. I guess they're just like, I don't want to try and fish it out of HQ, though there's only going to be 3 cards in HQ, which seems like it's pretty decent. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is also a very good line if you have the second Hippo. This is going to cost them all their money. Yeah, no, I'm very dead. Like, they had the Stargate on the exact turn we couldn't afford to have our opponent have the Stargate. And it's not like they had seen that much of their deck at that point. So it's just, it is what it is. Them sinking 8 here is not the end of the world for us. Wait, that makes our position way better. I think. I mean, we still lose to the next Stargate play, I think. Like a click 1 Stargate here is really bad. So seeing a Spin Doctor would be nice, but we're not going to. Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very lost here. King is playing very well. Yeah, oh yeah, now you definitely go after the Ichor because my hand's empty. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this game's actually just over. Yeah, good call. Yeah, I guess I need to draw once with that fully operational and stay at 5. Yeah. Oh, that's a very good point. An opponent's gonna find it. He's quite good. So. You just do breaks to the team stuff. Yeah, I mean, also, like, there's so many ways to lose here anyway. Yeah, there it is. GG. Oh well, so it goes. I mean, this is the best runner deck, and I honestly feel like we had real shots in this game if we didn't open up with no ice for the whole game. Nope. Yeah, I mean, like, we did go several turns, but conversely, we fired 2 Rashidas. So it's not like we can't claim we didn't have a good opportunity to draw here. We just didn't get what we needed. Yeah, this is a lot of Botulisks. I wonder if he's not on Hippo for some reason. Or Endurance, I mean. Yeah, I think actually, so a reason to do teams, probably, now that I think about it, is you can do it as sort of a Sovereign of Subways thing. Or you get the upside of Sovereign of Subways where you have 2 people talking. You can also let someone draft a deck and then say, I don't really want to play this deck, but I know it's good, but my partner would play it and know it's good. And know how to pilot it, and that could be a fun thing. And then you can also swap it up so you and your partner could alternate who plays each deck, but you don't have to spend 2 hours drafting. You can spend an hour drafting with it. Excuse me. Yeah. So. That's maybe the way to go about doing it. Oh, wow, someone playing Eternal. Let's, oops. We'll do any side. We'll figure out a runner we can play. Oh yeah, we'll just play the Bankar Hoshiko. Yeah. Oh, it's Limes. Playing Ampere. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Hey, Limes. Oh, this is a great hand. No, so Jamie, what I think happened is I hit watch, the opponent heard the boop boop and hit start game. Or maybe, actually, you know what? Opponent was probably just, like, trying to handcraft a CI list. Oh no, Limes. Please don't make me do this. Traps don't exist. Traps don't exist. There is no snare. There is no snare. There is no Reaper function. Okay, Urban Renewal seems fine. Okay, this is good, clean 49 Calvin. Okay, this is one of the few times I've seen Calvin. I feel like it's potentially justifiable. Breaking the Urban Renewal is certainly annoying. Oh yes, I do need to move my camera. Thank you, Jamie. Let's move myself down here because I'm not putting cards down here. I can't really zoom in more than this. Apologies for this zoom out. Maybe one day we'll get that fixed on JNet, and by we I mean people who know what they're doing. We're gonna draw. We're gonna draw. You know what? Let's Raindrops Cut Stone server 3. Playing this for +3, so this is just a dirty laundry that maybe draws me cards. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 tags here. And just die to boom sometimes. Oh, actually no. I can even shake a tag here. Never mind. We're totally fine. So I would die to boom if they clicked for a credit, played the boom. Calvin is going to generate them a lot of value, though. Let's throw down the no free lunch. Play that. We're going to click for a credit. I think we're just going to remove a tag the hard way here. I think I get rid of this Botulus. I don't think I'm going to be using it a ton, though arguably be good for the Funhouse, but I think I'll just use Amakua for that. Ooh, spicy. Okay, so this is going to be Pop Fermenter. Throw down DreamNet. Throw down Amakua. Run R&D. And we see a Bran, and we have all 3 Chishtushkas, so we gotta figure out how to land these. I might just like do a exploratory poke on HQ just to see. So DBS, Calvin, so it's actually really annoying to trash Calvin now. We're going hard on this horizontal plan. Oh, we get to play this for free. Let's expose this ice. Afshar. Okay, cool. So we definitely will be able to land these Shishtushkas, but it's going to be expensive. Let's just poke R&D. Probably checking these remotes is better, but... Oh. Let's go. We get a Vitruvius. Whoa. What's up? Come here. My wife has insisted that I put the dog up on stream. Princess, come here. Here's the Princess, look over here. Princess. Nope. You want to go down now? Yes, you're very mad. It's wet outside and you're mad. Okay. Oh, sorry. Forgot that I was playing a game with someone else. Okay. Now that we're done being a jerk to our opponent here, Let's... Restream HQ. And then I think we're going to pop no free lunch and Restream HQ. And then we're going to run archives and see what we get. See if we can get out of Spin Doctor. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wild. So we did get a boom. We got a public trail. NGO front gets scored against us. We might be getting some... Oh, we're going to get SIU'd and hard-hitting news. Jamie, because in theory, I'm supposed to save that no free lunch for exactly this sort of situation. Oh no, I'm just dead. That's hilarious. Oh wow. GG's. Yeah, wow, that's funny. Cool. Well, first loss to Ampere. Tally it up. Yeah, well, yeah, this is like, instead of showboating, you play your standard econ and you land those later. Very cool. That actually felt like a somewhat coherent deck, which I think is pretty cool. That was a thing that, like, I think is hard to do. So. But, oh wow, it actually is funny. As soon as I stop talking about Netrunner and playing Netrunner, my view counts go up by like 50% on both. Yeah, Sanjay, I think Ampere, like, tagging is the thing that makes the most sense because it's split across at least 2 factions. And so you're not just doing a strictly worse version of something else. So. Tag and bag, fast advance, exactly, yeah. Sorry, I'm like doing a terrible streamer thing and like checking up on all my discords. Just real quick. I don't know, like, to me, I feel like if you're going to play Bioroids, I'd rather be able to play playsets of Bioroids. Like, I think you do want mechanics that are a little bit cross-factional. Like, I feel like you could do, like, a core net damage flatline deck, maybe, where you grab some parts of the Thule package, you grab some parts of the PE package, and kind of smush them together and see if that makes it work. And then you can also be like, oh yeah, I'll throw in value or urban renewals, I'll throw in... I haven't figured out how to get the fast advance and not feel like just a bad version of a good fast advance. The Agenda Suite is awkward. Yeah, that makes sense to me, because it's like, oh yeah, I'll play the limit 1 per dex, and then I'll play a Vitruvius, a Beal, like I'll play the projects, but that's only 16 points. And you can know there's no neutrals that you can play, so it's like, hey Limes, thanks for the game. Definitely shouldn't have greeted for that second Shashtushka, because I think I just live if I sit on that no free lunch. So, But thanks for the game. It was fun to be for that to be my first loss to Ampere. I thought that was you were just talking about how that was a nice coherent Ampere deck. Okay, I mean, there are 14 pieces of ice. Okay, great. Great. So this is probably Ice the Nico, Ice HQ, and throw the Spin Doctor out, I think. And I don't mind throwing away a fully operational here. Run a tournament that is neutral ID only. Fun. I think there's some Jinteki cards that combo with Biroids, and I suppose Border Control. Yeah, Fast Advance seems like it should work okay. Surprised to see my opponent not running an open archive, so I feel like that was things that Alice's always do. Okay, what do we see? Torch and Paperclip. That's not great for us. So let's res the Spin Doctor for tempo here. Let's put this behind a new remote. Let's draw 2 cards. Let's draw 2 cards and gain 2 credits. And then let's throw an ice on archives just so that we can turn off our runner's ability. I want to hear their fun, Sanjay. I was really worried that runner was going to just roll over things. And Jamie, thanks for coming by. Do poke me periodically about World Breaker stuff. It's really easy for things to fall off my radar because, as we've talked about, I'm not really doing much of anything. Oh, thank you, Sanjay. I need to like get 2 cameras for when I'm playing as asset spam versus playing against asset spam, and just bounce between the 2. I am really sad that like this is basically as wide as I'm ever gonna go in an Asa deck until we print new things. I just always mill at the top here. I like all the cards in my hand. Wait, oh, they declined to use Nah. Okay. What do you mean by like the Nova is losing in startup? Yeah, I could buy that. Oh jeez, that's gross. Okay. Okay. What are we doing here? Yeah, Nova seems to be rolling over Ampere. Yeah, that's my impression of what should happen. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I'm just absolutely gross right now. Okay. We're going to install this Vitruvius. One sec. BRB. And go get a tissue. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. I'm still okay with actually slow rolling this board state a little bit. Because as I talked about earlier, my biggest sin with this deck is just not knowing when to quit. Oh boy. So Limes, this is like the fairest HB you can play. And so you fetch with Gaslight either Seamless Launch, Next Activation Command, or Fully Operational. Occasionally, if you have to, Hedge Fund. Oh my goodness. It's a lot. Okay, we're just going to advance this once. Yeah, Asa is one of the only decks that historically has done both. Oh man. Alright, so endurance has come down, but we're actually pretty well protected for it, so I don't mind. Yeah, let me show you the list. It's just Skunk Void with 2 border controls, 14 ice. Should probably be 15. 3 fulls, 3 hedges. A Gaslighting Cube is a beautiful thing. Oh, that does sound beautiful. Do I want my opponent to trash the Spin Doctor? Yeah, that's fine. And they should use their Nod here. Really, they're still declining to use it. That's pretty surprising. Yeah, I'm interested to see this. This list has felt really solid. And like I was able to play a game. Oh yeah, sorry, Sanjay. We can pull this up, but well, I think you know what team sponsorship does, but I do appreciate the call out that I should be, especially when talking about old cards, be pulling them up on stream. The team sponsorship was one of the classic cards that old heads ask for a lot. So team sponsorship. We're not going to fire the Gaslight now. I guess we actually could. Yeah, I actually should have fired the Gaslight because it's a little bit less flexible than the Vitruvius counter. Oh, you should know what Na does. Okay, yeah, this is a brand new card, which says when you install this program, load 3 power counters onto it when empty, trash it. First time you turn your successful run, you remove 1 hosted counter to sabotage 1. So now we res a Gatekeeper here. And shockingly, I might actually discard my Rashida, which is pretty wild. But yeah, team sponsorship, reinstalling a Gaslight basically turns the team sponsorship trigger into finding any asset you want, which is pretty fun. That seems like a fun combo. I feel like team sponsorship would be a great like uncommon, because it's a really important glue card, but it doesn't like win the game on its own. So, and now we should see Na fired, Alice fired. Yeah, we will just mill a card from the top, and then we will discard a Rashida, because I think our next turn is like install Ikawa and Antibiotic Void, fully up to draw a bunch. and go. So yeah, hopefully I don't like scare off Larso. I'm always glad to see people coming back to the game, and like Alice is just an idea that a lot of people love. We have enough money that we can res the Gatekeeper. Taxing out endurance counters is really nice. Yeah, Limes. Like the team sponsorship. It's like honestly, that deck is so powerful as to be a real deck in Eternal. And you can score 7 points in a single paid ability window. Like you just never pass priority to the runner. It's pretty wild. Alright, we're gonna break this for 6, I expect. Yep. I mean, for an opponent being a returning player, they're juggling their assets correctly. Their like actual like in-game assets correctly. Yeah, this is where I get punished for not using the Gaslight. But maybe we're just gonna top deck. Okay. So I could advance this twice and basically guarantee the win. So instead of toying, we're just gonna... Oh, actually, this kind of doesn't work because of Alice. Interesting. I did not think about Alice as a card. I have to hope that my opponent doesn't know that Ikawa Project is a card. Also, is this the only 5-3 project rather than 3-2 project? I guess we can look this up on NRDB, right? Just go to NRDB and search project. Project Vacheron. Okay, well, that's an abomination as well. It's good to know that we have these projects. I guess we have Project Junebug, Vanity Project, but that's X Project. Chronos Project's a 3-1. Okay, so X Project should not be a... So basically, Project Junebug, Project Vacheron, and Project Kusanagi, Project Wotan. Okay, never mind. I thought this was a thing, and it's not. Feels a 13-7. Okay, do I have enough to res all of these? Let me, hold on. Math. 1 sec. Okay, so it cost me 3 plus 4 is 7, so I can't actually res this. I'm gonna go res. You approach ice, continue the movement. Oh, I forgot that, like, I can actually just pop the border control and be fine here. Yeah, it's 11-7. Yeah, actually, like, putting World Domination as a rare in a cube does seem kind of fun. Okay. So, you're going to be asked to pay the Manic cost, and then, because I control... I'm allowed to choose to activate Anoetic Void. So after you choose whether or not to end the run, I get the option. Okay. Yeah, firing BC also wins the game here. Yeah, like there's no way we lose this game. Runner was on, like, they just can't actually get enough points in any single click. Actually, no, that's not true. they could finality and steal 4 2-pointers off the top of the deck. And we actually couldn't... we could res, but it wouldn't make a difference. So... GG. They could surprise Doof. That's a good point, Limes. Yeah, Bilby, I have seen the funny Sandberg Asa. I'm a little bit salty about it because it beat me. And I don't think the deck's any good, but maybe it is. I don't know. Oh, neat. Glad to have you back. It does seem like a hard time to be Sandberging, but they're playing Restore as well. So it's just like Restore, fully op, Nasex. I did. Wait, did you happen to... There was a... Man. Man, I used to play in a Blood Bowl 2 league. Are they diverting Magnet Sandbergs as well? I think they also are diverting. Let's see if I can find the list. Let me see if I can find it, because it's been discussion. There's been a lot of discussion about it. Okay. Okay, sorry. Let me pull up this Sandberg deck. Okay, so where are we at with the Sandberg deck? So what do we got? Just fully operational Restore. That's it. Then we have 18 assets, including 2 Trieste, 3 Sandbergs, 3 Regoliths, 3 Nasex, and a Maryland. And then they switched out this Maskarovka for Tithoniums. I think these Palisades are just wrong. I don't think these next Sapphires... What does next Sapphire even do? Is that not how you spell Sapphire? Jeez Louise. Okay, it's not. It's definitely not worth 9 influence. But that's fine. Tithonium's a better use, and you play some Elvigar bifurcations. Yeah, I don't think next Sapphire is worth a slot here. I would just play Gatekeeper. Like, you just play Gatekeeper in the slot, and it's better. Like, what? What is this doing for you? That's better than Gatekeeper. I don't see it. It's worth the 1 extra credit. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, this is a rude meme deck. I think it's hoping that there's no APOC. And I'd be surprised if it's robust against Criminal. Because if Criminal ever gets on top of you and just clears your board, like, you can't stick a Regolith, you can't stick a Nasex, and you're not going to be able to play a big fully operational. So I think it's fairly glass candy, but it did blow me out on stream, so better player wins, I guess. No, but for real, like, it's a fun deck, so I'm glad someone's making it work. Yeah, their argument, I believe, was that, oh, it reses for cheap, and I'm like, well, Ice Wall reses for cheap and it only costs 1 influence, so maybe play that instead. And they're like, oh no, but it gives back the 2. I'm like, it doesn't matter what it gives back, it costs 3 and it's bad. So... Alright. Do you just want to play... Let's go and play Proco 3. That seems fun. I mean, Masquerade is a bad card, so of course it's getting hate. I don't know. Oh yeah, sure, it's fine. It's like designed for a limited level of power for sure. For sure, 100%. Okay, SIU's not a card. Alright, we're going to take a little bit of net damage here, but I don't think that particularly matters. Was this small Woo with only 50 cards? This is my bad homebrew of Woo. So I think we're going to go Telework Contract. Let's see. We need more credits than we have. Proco, Creative Commission. Fantastic. So next turn is something like install Cubon on HQ, grab SMC, and run HQ. If that doesn't work, we just like run a different remote. Okay, so now we go and we grab our world tree. We breach the server. We pop the telework for a daily casts. Leave the regolith. And then... Oh, I thought I had no free lunch in my hand. This could get hairy. We're going to Proco last click. What do we got? Ares? That's fine. Let's go and grab... What do we not particularly need? Honestly, I might like grab... Actually, here's what we do. We grab a second Cubon. No we don't. Sorry. We'll see. I don't think grabbing the second coupon. Yeah. Okay. Full. Let's Proco. I guess we can like install Simulchip, run HQ. And actually, we should probably go and take care of some of their asset econ. We'll probably want to get misdirection out. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna breach the server. We're going to actually get rid of the Simulchip for an endurance. I can't trash this. And we stay up on 10 credits. I mean, this coupon's not bad here. Yeah, I should have overclocked if I was getting out the boat for sure, Lives. 100%. I wasn't sure I was going to get through, but... Alright, yep, my opponent got me. We are not supposed to shuffle our deck during the game. That's true. We're just going to run HQ here. I think that's probably the regolith. Oh, it's an endless Eula. Okay, okay. What am I selling here? Let's go just get the DJ Fenris now, and we'll get our Steve. I think that's still the best option for us. And we don't get rid of that Spin Doctor. And next turn is going to be something like we put the Cubone on the Endless Eula. We pay 2 to go through the Endless Eula and turn it into a Cleaver so that we pay 1 to go through the Endless Eula. We probably could overclock here. Oh, just drawing the Priestess naturally is okay. Let's go get our second Cubone. And then we're going to run HQ. And do I have 2 things in the heap? Yeah, I have 2 creative commissions. So I probably should have planned this better, but... now we're going to World Tree away a Cubone for our Cleaver. There's a pay all unbroken button if you click on Eula. Oh, sweet. Oh, I got the wrong... Okay, well, that's a fun interface thing. Rip Cubone. That's actually pretty unfortunate. Okay, so we're gonna go World Tree. Let's get rid of this. Let's grab a no free lunch, I guess. And then we're kind of stuck removing 2 tags here, which is unfortunate. I'm just not playing particularly sharply. I also just need to get my Stargate down. And losing the Cubone to an RFG was pretty bad. But so it goes. Ooh, I don't think I have good tech for Funhouse, so we're going to let that end the run. Okay, we will just break. Okay, World Tree is going to trash our SMC. Let's grab our Stargate. Oof, that's not really what I wanted to draw here, but I guess it's okay. We'll pay 2 into that trace. I'm going to take some net damage here. Losing the pinhole's not really what we want, but that's okay. I can't use the Parisia in the window I want to here, which is unfortunate. So if I go Stargate... this is a weird turn, because I really do need to Stargate here at some point, but the double Ares does make this tricky. Because I'm just going to take 2 tags. I don't really have a good way of... I guess actually, you know what? I'm not contesting the board. So what we'll do is we'll turn the Parisia into a misdirection. Don't particularly feel like I need to see a hard-hidden use. Okay, so this Proco has not been worth the install, I think. And to be fair, this DJ Steve literally hasn't triggered. It would have probably triggered if it hadn't removed the wrong Cubon from the game, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else for me to sell here. Let's get rid of seamless launch. Then we're going to remove 2 tags. And then we Proco, I guess. Lots of money. Lots of money. Is server 9 the gen that they snuck by us? Let's find out. If it is, I probably pop after 2 advances. Nope, it's a spin doctor. Okay. I'm not sure exactly how opponent wins here, but that's... looks a little bit like your NEH. Interesting. Well, that makes me respect it a little bit more, I'll be honest. Okay, we're just gonna do this. It's probably a Sansan in server 4. Actually, it's basically guaranteed to be a Sansan server 4. We have no clot access at all. Which is definitely a bummer. And we didn't get an endurance counter, which is also maybe less than ideal. Oh, price X an option, but we saw a Sansan City Grid. Wow, opponent's really glaciering up. What are they doing with all this money that's like, that I'm scared of? I guess is the question. Oh, that pinhole thread is really nice for a future turn. Cyberdelia helps us get some money back as we start to break things. Just strip it for a casual 5. Well, I think we just like pinhole threading, trash the Sansan, clear 2 tags, Proco. Oh, even spicier. Interesting. I feel like we're just going to do this. Overclock server 4. So a 3 subroutine code gate is annoying here. Pretty close. I definitely cannot use these overclock credits, right? I'm pretty sure I can't. They must pay 3. Maybe? Okay, endurance is now a expensive brick. Okay, do I have... Hold on. Let's find out if we have 2, It's been so long since I've played this. Do we have 3 endurances? We don't. Okay, so I can't sell my endurance for endurance here, which is unfortunate. Do I get rid of the DJ? I don't think I do. I think I actually just leave this board. Okay. Yeah, we'll pay to steal Bologna. We'll take 2 tags off of a maze. Yeah, sure, you can trace me for 11. I actually think I'm done with World Tree now. Actually, maybe I'm done with the Stargate. I think I'm done with the Stargate. Alright. Croco coming in hot here. At some point I probably do need to just run HQ, but we don't really have to yet. Man, getting that cube on RFG was really annoying. Oops. Oh, I don't really have other options. Okay. Let's just Croco it up. I guess we'll just throw down this Clot, which, like, opponent's not going to actually purge this turn. Alright, opponent's got up below. They don't really have a fast advance threat yet. Oh, I probably should have done something there. They're going to bounce the World Tree, probably. Man, I feel like if I could have run HQ a couple times for 1 credit, this would have been nice. Okay. What are we doing here? How are we going to make this work? Alright, opponent can't fast advance out on us here, even with 1,000,000 credits. So we just need a trick to get it to server 4. Slash get into HQ, honestly. Like just going leech or buzzsaw cleaver or buzzsaw turbine is probably enough here. The other way I lose is that they sneak an agenda out on the table, so we just have to check remotes for that. Oh, okay. Nice. They saved us a click so they could make a credit. Oh, very nice. Okay. I mean, I can just hard install this, right? And then get Proco again. Okay, so now I get to walk into server 4 for a total of 5 credits. Plus 4 to install, so I don't actually quite have enough at the moment, but that's okay. We can't quite do the Mayfly thing, but that's fine. We also have 2 sure gambles, a creative commission, the daily casts, and the telework left in our deck. What we're probably going to do is actually pinhole threading server 4 so that we know if we need to commit to going into it for real. Yeah, I mean, this just isn't particularly a threat because we have misdirection. AR enhanced, okay. Yeah, like we just need a legwork and we win the game, I think. Really quite sad. Oh, I should have popped the no free lunch, but whatever. Corp is going to resolve it anyway. Turbine should go. Proco could also go, honestly. The goal with the Proco is a one-of, so you're supposed to go and fetch it as your draw engine. Draw an econ engine. I think this is probably just worse than playing other stuff, but... Wow. Yeah, we can just do this. Beautiful. I don't need this. I probably don't need this. I don't even know if I need the flame out anymore. I have other tricks, so. Yeah, until opponent purges, we don't have to run into HQ, so we're not going to until we do. Yep, there we go. There we go. So now we have to go for HQ here. So 3 and take 2 tags. And we do that twice, I guess. I just want to make sure I have 5 credits each time. We'll grab 2 creative commissions, I guess. I could also grab 2 simul chips. Oh, I don't have... Yeah. Maybe that's actually slightly better. Hey, awesome case. We're throwing for fun and profit. Oh, but we just rip it. Yeah, I mean, there was, what? There was 11 agenda points out of the game and 12 cards left in R&D, so there was 9 points in the last couple of cards. I mean, we definitely got lucky there, right? Our line is probably Purge, I mean, they've got to have biotic labor, right? I don't know. Okay, yeah, this list is quite poor. And it's got too much draw, I think. I mean, we were just playing it away as to not lose, and we got there. The RFGing the wrong Cubon was annoying. We can just raid HQ so much more. Really like the Cubons, actually. They were doing a lot. We're gonna play one more with this, I think. It's always luck if you win once. It's pure skill if you win twice. It's never luck if you win twice in a row. I feel weird. Like, should I be like saying like live on Twitch and YouTube? I don't know. That seems weird. Let's see. The Arity. Ah, we're about to get stomped, I suspect. Part of my theory of the smaller Wu was that you could be better against R+, but this hand, not gonna do it. This hand could do it, maybe. We like hedge fund, we sure gamble, overclock the Mayfly on the remote. I think I don't go for this turn. I like install a stone ship and click for a credit, I think. Oh, this is a different Reality Plus list. Okay. Well, that lets us play very differently then. Let's go SMC. Actually, we're going to cancel that. Then we go overclock HQ, install a program. We go and grab our world tree. Then we breach the server, we break this, we grab our Roco. We'll pay to trash that, I guess. Oh, fudge. I forgot that's how that's gonna work. Oh, that's bad. I shouldn't have paid to trash that. Oof. Take my brain out for a second and throw a game where I'm okay. Full swing on. I've been enjoying Saber recently, but Boat is just so good, so I run 2 and a deep dive. I love it. 15 influence on 3 cards. What's not to love? Definitely a sign that everything's in a good and healthy spot. We're gonna HHN credit perfect here? I suspect so. No. Interesting. Do I Mayfly overclock that server? Let's do it, right? You only live once. And we can just go grab the misdirection, I guess. Yeah. So we're going to lose the Procope, but we get a misdirection, I think, in exchange. I think we have a more expensive thing to bring out. I guess we could get out Cleaver. That also makes a lot of sense. Alright, 2 tags. Not ideal here. Not ideal. Yeah, okay. Well, GG. Yep, you too. Yeah, that was rough. I think we were I guess if we take a single tag, we're not dead there. It's fine. And like if we lose the Proco, we just like instead of clicked for Proco a bunch. Yeah, trashing the Prysac was just a pretty big mistake there, but so it goes. we'll do one more, and then I'm going to call it a night, I think. Which I think is what I said for the last one as well, but, you know, that's a standard Jeff stream. Yeah. I don't know. It's I'm hoping to have a video out about the decks for the meta. We can hopefully put that together quickly. But we'll see. Because it also would be nice to make it look good and fancy and up to nice editing styles, but yeah. I don't know. Maybe if no one shows up, we'll just I'll maybe just call the stream there. But oh, of course, Chris is gonna come in and find me out. Do I play a better deck? Let's play a better deck, he says, slotting in a deck that's dubiously better. I mean, this is a lot of econ. Now, the biggest problem with this deck is I have to have a resource stick on the board for a turn if I'm going to break anything. Ping me. Ping me, Chris. Ping me and win. Watch this be like an endless Eula. That'd be kind of sick. Just draw 6. It is an endless Eula. Oh my goodness. Pay for all unbroken subs. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Beautiful. Okay. Let's click for it. Wait. Oh. Okay. Well. Draw 6. Okay. I guess we're going to Dirty Laundry HQ. I guess we'll trash a Spin Doctor. We'll do this. I think I'm going to trash a Nah. And a Nah. I think I'm not doing a lot of value running. I think I'm doing mostly targeted runs. Okay, let's draw 2 cards, gain 3 credits, slap down an Amakua, and we're just gonna Raindrops cut Stone HQ for just some positive credits, and throw down a no free lunch. Okay. I think it's just this for this turn. Fermenter, Bankar can go. Let's just put it on R&D. Let's draw. Beautiful. And we're going to click for 3 credits here. If this is a Drago, I am well and truly rused. It's probably a Lacosta, actually. Okay, that is a little bit annoying. Let's Jushtushka. Raindrops cut stone R&D. I'll take a tag. Then I'll let Unbroken Subroutines fire. Oh, and of course it's the Botulus. Ah. Of course it hits the Botulus. Come on. Ugh. I should have probably pre-installed the Botulus. Yeah, so going after this Drago is just like a straight up losing play here. Oh, no, it's not. This is hilarious. So this represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. So we install the fermenter. We run server 1. So that did not work. Oh no, that did work exactly correctly. We took 7 damage. Only get to do it once, but it feels good. We'll ignore that I know you have restore. I actually think I don't touch this Bologna yet. I was mostly hoping to... Oh, we hit a boom. That's nice. I was hoping that there would be a degree mill so I could put back the fermenter Bankar. Oh, we're gonna grab a Spin Doctor from Archives. That's not the card I was expecting. Alright, well, Chris gets owned by the fact that we drew completely nutty here. Where we get to gain 3 credits, remove a tag. We get to gain 3 credits, remove a tag. Then we get to remove a tag and remove a tag. Next turn, I think it's like draw, install Zenit, pop a fermenter, run HQ. So this is probably La Costa Draco. Which is very annoying. Do I pop the fermenter, or do I try and get a purge here? But even if I get market forces here, I'm still sort of okay. Let's credit, advance the Draco, market forces, I think. Okay. So we're going to go Laundry HQ. Sure Gamble. Run server 1. And then we remove the tag last click, I think. Now, we can't really do this that many times. And we probably can't afford to install the StreamNet, but it's sure tempting, I'll be honest. I think we've seen all of our deuces, 2 sure gambles, 2 laundries. Like, there's just not that much gas left in our deck. Oh, but no... interesting. Ooh. No free lunch is very good here. Let's just draw a second time here. Okay, we've got some HP we can afford to tank. What bad thing could ever happen to us running at 0 credits? Like, honestly. Who knows? We could pop these no free lunches for the inevitable HHN here, but we're not going to. Oh. Wow, it wasn't even inevitable. Inevitable. Okay, so I think we click for a credit. And then we're going to pinhole threading, run archives. StreamNet, nah. Yes. We'll pay 1 to trash Draco. We'll click for a credit. And we will click for a credit and get hard-hitting news. Oh, right, I've discarded down to 4 because I've taken some core damage. Okay. Fermenter tricks. Bankar can go on HQ. I think what I do is I go Botulus on HQ as well. And we run HQ. And we will break a subroutine, which will be end the run. We will let an unbroken subroutine fire, so we're kicking a net and hoping that we don't get either of our econ cards hit. It's a real bummer. Dream net. Zenith chip. I guess we don't have to remove a hosted power counter right now. Can we pay to steal? Yeah, we can pay to steal. And then we go credit. Credit? Alright, that's a neat chip. I think next turn we pop for 8, play a sure gamble. Draco into R&D, so probably going to draw a Draco. Attitude adjustment, we're probably going to see a card from Archives and HQ go away. Oh no, 2 agendas in HQ, makes sense that we saw some. So that is almost certainly a Draco, and I don't know if we can deal with it. Oh wait, we have Pinhole Threading, we can deal with it. Okay. Botulus ticks up, Fermenter ticks up, Bankar will put on Archives. Oh, I think this is Click Fermenter, Sure Gamble. You know what? If this is Draco, I don't mind because I have 2 no free lunches. So I'm going to instead click for a credit, and then we're going to Shishtushka. And we're going to try and mill Chris out here. Because I think it's actually slightly more likely this is an agenda. Oh, it's not. Okay. Okay, this is very nice for us because we still have the 2 pinholes. We'll put this on Archives, I guess. We'll run server 2. Okay, we're counting down the Dragos. And we're going to start being able to access a card from HQ every turn. And we get to go through this Drago. And we're still in an okay spot. Okay, so this is probably a turn that we can think about running HQ a couple times. I almost... Oh no, we run Archives first here because we can afford to lose cards. If we lose the Pinhole Threading, it's a little bit sad for us. So actually we might fully break this ping here. Okay. So now I get to run HQ. Fully break. Alright, that's a bummer. So we have to remove the tag. So how many Dragos are we down? 2 Dragos. We have the no free lunch, so I'm actually okay with sitting here for another turn. We're never installing the Maw or the Stargate here. Those cards are too fun to be allowed. Okay. Botulus, Bankar. You can go on HQ, I guess. We are out of cards. And basically out of econ. You know what, let's Alright, well, we're gonna grind out the... Oh! Balls. Okay, so that's how we lose, basically. Okay. That is how we lose. Is that being a Rashida? Now, Chris can't actually fire this Rashida. Which is kind of interesting, I guess. Okay. So if this is an endless Eula, we don't die. So I think we can just run HQ here. Okay, that's the booms down. So now I think we've actually won. Oh, except we haven't. So I can't get accesses right now because I trashed the boom. So the question is, what's the game plan? Okay, so our actual game plan, I think, is Chris basically has to score. Actually, Chris has to take 3 turns to score out. Right? He has no ice that's greater than strength 2. So what we're going to do, we're going to run R&D. And probably just, like, try and luck sack the game, honestly. Okay, well, that does it too. What a wild way to have that game. This would be a great... Oh, cool. I don't know, maybe this Reality Plus list isn't good. He says, memeing up and down the line. Alright, well, thank you everyone. That was a lot of fun. Fun game to end the stream on. And I'll catch you all next week, and hopefully have a video up before then. So, stay frosty, everyone.